Hello, we're huge.
See you guys later.
CJ came back.
Bye, CJ. CJ was live for like 2 seconds. CJ's like, peace out.
Dunzo.
We're all very large this week.
We're 30 minutes. You know what? We're 30 minutes late, and it's all CJ's fault.
Agreed. Are you gonna swap this up so we're not?
He didn't leave. What? He didn't leave everything set properly.
Well, that's his fault.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, hello. Okay, let's.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at us.
We're good.
Wow.
We're good.
Yeah.
I had to
CJ's back.
do that for you.
What?
I switched how it looked on the stream. I'm out of here. Bye.
But what was that? Why did he come back?
Ghost of CJ.
Daddy stayed to see whether it was working or not.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
He didn't trust you.
That's good of him.
Yeah.
He's right.
No,
He's right to do it. He's right.
He's dead to me.
Man.
Is Jacob is he looking for any freelance work? We don't pay well.
Well, he'll pick up gigs. That is the hardest working man in show business out in Las Vegas. I'm telling you.
I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Jacob works all the time. All the time.
Oh, man.
All right. Let's do this thing. All right.
Okay. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to episode 780 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. I am your host, Greg Seward. CJ, you may have seen him if you're watching this on Facebook or any of the other video streaming YouTube. I've heard of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
He popped in to make sure we weren't screwing everything up. He was wrong. He's out this week, so I am hosting.
Yeah.
So buckle your seatbelts, baby, because this is going to be awkward, ill-timed, poorly done, especially because of my co-host. Phil Theobald.
Greetings, fellow stargazers. How are you all doing?
Don't screw this up. CJ just put it in the chat.
Is this your Art Bell?
Oh, Jack Horkheimer. Did you ever see Jack Horkheimer?
I didn't.
Stargazers. Oh man.
I guess I have.
Okay.
That's a NPR bit.
Yeah. I think it was an old PBS thing.
Right.
Used to do.
See, I just always assume it's an old Chicago thing and just go with that.
I don't know if it was.
I mean, it's all alien
to me. It might have just been a
so.
Chicago thing, but I don't know. But yeah, his whole shtick. It was the stargazers,
Right, but it was it wasn't like Cancer is in Aquarius. It was look up to the north and you'll see Jupiter for a little bit.
Exactly. It was legit kind of naked eye astronomy type stuff.
I was going to say, it was astronomy, not astrology.
Right.
No. Okay. Yeah. No, it was definitely astronomy.
All right.
That
other voice you're hearing, by the way, is this week's guest host from the Ice Cream Social and the great state of where now?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. Where all the rest of the vampires live. Blah.
One and only Paul Mattingly.
Hello. Thank you for having me on this eve of the release of the Castlevania Game Boy Advance SP collection. Blah, blah.
And this is the reason why nothing's getting done tonight.
Right.
Wait, the Castlevania collection's already out.
Oh, no. Boof.
Come on, Drac.
I thought you guys could count.
Nope.
Count. I get it.
Blah.
So yeah, Paul's joining us from the
thank you guys for having me. I'm really happy to be here as always.
Thank you for coming on, man, especially with such short notice.
Hey, it's all good.
And clearly in the middle of unpacking.
Oh man, I got a long way to go. I got so much stuff to unpack.
The best thing was if you're watching the video feed of this, we were originally looking at Paul from his left, and boy, those stacks of crates behind him.
Yeah, they go on
the ceiling.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I don't care. I'll just do it. Stacks on stacks. Here we go. And that's about 3 deep. And can't stop, won't stop.
Kind of deep.
And and Greg, I remember Greg before we started recording, kind of did like a joking, like those are all toys, aren't they?
They're all toys. No, I wasn't a joke.
But you were saying it kind of like, somewhat humorously, derisively. You know, like,
Oh, absolutely.
look at this nerd over here. Meanwhile,
No,
I'm
okay,
just like,
okay.
oh
Two
man,
things.
I'm
Two
glad
things.
Greg didn't see my stuff when I was
Two
moving.
things. I
Yeah,
knew they were all toys,
yeah.
and it wasn't somewhat derisive.
Oh, it was
It
absolutely
was totally dry.
Yeah.
right
Well,
there on the surface.
so you're seeing these boxes that I've invested heavily in, as you can see, which they
Yes.
did their job. Most everything so far that I've looked at has made the trip from Las Vegas all the way across the country
Oof.
to just outside of Pittsburgh
Yeah.
intact. But I got rid of all my classic gaming systems in the move.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yes. So I parted with no less than 10 of those crates filled to bursting with
Holy
classic
cow.
gaming
son.
systems and games.
Wow.
Mhm.
And you
Yep,
couldn't ship
yep,
any of them to Canada.
It was a package deal. I got a scoop. A listener to our program hit me up, and he couldn't go wrong with he came, picked it up from my doorstep,
Oh wow.
put it all in his car, and took it. So
Nice.
To be fair, shipping anything to Canada is like $300 a pound. So
shipping anything anywhere, man, it's just
Yeah,
forget
really.
about it.
and now it takes a year. So
Mhm.
Right. And now, with the advent of systems like the Nintendo Switch, bringing all the classic games back for one low yearly price, who even needs classic games anymore?
that is quite a segue. And I'm calling it out because I know it bothers Phil when we actually call out that we had a good segue. That's a better segue than CJ would do. That's all I'm saying.
Man.
Yeah,
You
so
know
let's
CJ's listening right now too. So
yeah, I know.
just
That's what I'm
saying
saying.
that to be mean.
Let's get right into news. What Paul's referring to, of course, is that we finally learned what the new price for the expansion pack, the NSO, the Switch Online expansion pack, is going to be. So the expansion pack, of course, includes N64 games, Genesis games, all the Genesis games you've played and bought a million times, and an expansion for Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yes.
That you could also just buy for $25, apparently. And all this for the new low price of like a 55% increase or something like that, or no, 100 and I don't know. It's $30 more.
Yeah.
They've more than doubled the price for this. So I guess, I mean, obviously the internet's gone wild about this. And you have people splitting into the two camps they always split into, which is pro Nintendo, anti Nintendo. And I'm gonna ask Paul because he's our guest. What do you think of this? Are you gonna spring for this, or is this good value prospect?
I probably will spring for it. Good value prospect. I don't know. I think the thing I'm in the camp that's very opposed to the naming solution, because I'm one of those guys that still used to own until very recently in a Nintendo 64, and an expansion pack has a very definitive definition. You know, that's how you get the better ROM and RAM. That's the only way
Perfect Dark to run at 10 frames a second instead of 5 frames a second.
Exactly. How else am I going to chork around on Naboo with my Starfighter?
Chork around. That was George Lucas's original idea for episode 1.
I'm hoping everyone will chork around on Naboo with the Gungans.
It's like the power of storytelling and myth.
Oh yeah, it all rhymes. Chorking around.
Jesus.
It's a hero's journey of chorking.
That's what the original the Gungans were originally called, the Chorks.
The Chorks.
So Paul, you're saying you're going to go for this then?
I probably will, because I'm an absolute Nintendo sucker.
Right.
But also, I'm torn. What are your guys feeling? Well, what's your feeling, Greg? Because the Nintendo Online service, I was very big into online games during the original Xbox and 360 era, playing pretty much at least twice a week with actual other human beings that I was talking to directly through my headset, who I, at least in some tangential way, knew. Like, these were people that I actually knew. With the Nintendo Switch setup, I have a lot of friends, but I don't know a whole lot of them. You know, a lot of them I don't know. Some of them I do, but I can't really talk to them because there's no voice chat. Easy.
That's one of the biggest problems with this, but yeah.
Right. And no way to set up you can set up gaming things within certain games. You can set up gaming hangouts. But can you invite other people to just join you on your front menu of Switch and hang out? But you can't talk. So I don't know. That's the problem I have with the thing. It's just not intuitive to actually get together with other people.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem that I have in general with because of course all the different there was the meme, the one that I was seeing a lot was like the Joker about like, comparing this to Xbox Live and Game Pass. And the fact that of course those two services together are more expensive. I think much more expensive than this. But it's a real false equivalency, I think, because of exactly what you just said. And it's the same thing on the PlayStation side with PS Plus and PlayStation Now and all that sort of stuff, where it's like, I don't think you can really. Well, there's a lot of different things. The main one, I think, is what you just said. Is those two services have made it very easy not just to matchmake within the game you're in, but also put together a voice chat. Like, I know for me, I'm the same as you. I used to play online a lot. The only reason I have Xbox Live now is because my son plays online. I almost never play Xbox Live. I play online a lot on my PlayStation 5, but it's entirely one game. It's Gran Turismo Sport. But, the way that the PlayStation is set up, we have like a standing voice chat group that any of us can just jump on. It's always there and it's always ready to go. And yes, I know that you can, with the Switch, you can use the app on your phone or you can use Discord, and that's true, but that's not part of the service. That's an outside solution. It's not an all-in-one service, right? So it's disingenuous, I think, to compare them that way. And also, I got to say, especially if you're going to compare this to Game Pass, comparing NSO to Game Pass, there's not really a comparison. The Game Pass selection is so much better, and constantly, when new games come out, they're not crap.
So exactly to your point, it's not comparable, and so when I had the Wii, I was all in on the eShop on the Wii, right? And I rebought everything. Games that I had, actual physical copies of that I could have, if I really wanted to, played on original hardware. I just went and bought. Yeah. Now, if they would give us the option to do that again, to buy software straight up and just have it on our system, awesome sauce. But to pay a rental fee yearly, it's just getting more and more. Oh, a lot of these boxes are also DVDs, because I am on the side of physical media, right?
Yeah.
Aside from my classic video games, which I have somehow in my mind gone, well, digital is okay for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is there. I guess because emulation is so rampant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's easy to rationalize, and your reasons will not resonate with other people, and vice versa. It's because I've gotten away from physical media.
I say you went digital this generation as well, right?
Digital, yeah.
Phil, are you going digital anytime soon?
I don't know. You know what? I'm kind of in the opposite.
Well, yeah, you're out there buying Cooking Mama and stuff, man. Come on.
Well, you gotta have your Cooking Mama. Come on.
Yeah, it's misprinted and doesn't work right. Mine's Bitcoin behind your back.
I gotta mine my Bitcoin. I gotta get my crypto mama. But
crypto mama.
But no, I do. I have I'm looking at it. I got a pretty substantial library of physical Switch games, but like movies, like you were talking about, I'm kind of just
I just don't buy them anymore.
I got my iTunes collection. I'll buy them digital or whatever. So
it's a while. See, and I'm the opposite on movies.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting away into the digital stuff with screen. Tangent. I've got a new TV. I haven't bought into the next gen systems yet.
You're gonna want to if you're gonna want to watch some of those DVDs, because they're gonna look awful on that television.
You're right. Well, I got a new nice new Blu-ray player and all that stuff, region free. It's gonna be. Nice. I hope it's gonna be cool. But man, that Xbox nomenclature has got me befuddled. I don't know which system I'm supposed to be looking at between the X and the S. I'm an old man.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, which one is it? Are they the same? They are, aren't they?
I think
the X and the S
I
are the
mean,
same, right? Except one is
yeah,
small and only
not
digital.
quite. No, the S isn't quite as powerful, I think.
Is that what it
See,
is?
I don't even know.
See?
I don't know. And I mean, I know we're kind
What
of
terrible
joking when you're saying an
messaging.
old man, but I think that's absolutely true. Like if
I
you're
know,
not an
not
informed
joking.
consumer,
Yeah.
and you're
I'm
going to
not
buy
joking.
one
I
of
mean,
these
I looked at myself in the mirror the other day and I said, shame on you. Shame on you for not knowing the specs differences between the X and the S.
Right.
Because, 20 years ago, you could have asked me anything on video game systems.
Yep.
Anything.
I'm the same
But
way.
now I'm just consoles. I pride myself on knowing my consoles. And now I'm just like, oh boy.
You know
But
what?
I lay that squarely at the feet of Microsoft.
The X
CJ.
has more teraflops.
That's what it is.
Oh.
It's got 12 teraflops as opposed to 4 teraflops.
There
Does
you
it-
go. Jeff Grubb in the chat. Also,
Yeah.
the S is for 1080p, the X is for 4K.
There you go.
That's a good way to.
Now
But they are essentially the same system.
Here's the real trick. Tell me what a teraflop is.
It's a million flops.
How much chorkin does it allow?
Oh, again, the X has way more chorkin.
Okay. Well, that's
So
what
that's
I
what you
got.
want.
Whatever I can use to chork around on Naboo.
That's what you need.
Yeah, the S doesn't have a disk drive either.
We're really
That's right. And so I'm looking at the S and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I am in the camp of I'm going to go digital
Yeah.
for this next Xbox. And I have decided that I'm not going to buy Sony this generation. I am going to go Microsoft
Because you're just
Eventually,
so offended by the shape of it.
the Sony
It's an
one.
ugly console.
It is ugly. No, two things. I bought into Sony last time
Mhm.
because I skipped the PS3 and I wanted some of those exclusives like Last of Us and basically PS4 was a PS3 greatest hits machine.
First
for
year of PS4
years,
was
right?
nothing but PS3 greatest hits.
Yeah. But they had their guns loaded and they really brought some great stuff. And it was slightly upgraded, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like that's a value I can get behind. But I also bought it for Street Fighter V because it was exclusive and I'm a fighting game fanatic. But Street Fighter V is miserably disappointing. That is a shell of a game.
That's too bad.
And I've bought almost all the DLC available.
Did you really?
I've got all the characters. I'm just a completionist when it comes to the characters. I feel like you don't have the game, but they've put out what is like 5 iterations of that game now.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, that was the one that. Well, no, it was 4, I guess, that really brought it all back, right?
4 still is excellent.
Yeah,
great game. Yeah. But 5 they really dropped the ball. But since it was only going to be on PlayStation, that's why I went Sony this last gen, and so I'm going to flip flop back. But the other concern I have is if I do go ahead and go all digital, am I being a fool to buy now or in the near future when probably the day after I buy it, they come out with a larger hard drive capacity? Or are they already allowing external drive use?
They're allowing external drives. I know they've always allowed external drives. That's
not always. Or maybe
maybe
these new consoles have. Maybe these new ones have.
I know with the PS5, the main thing that they added more recently, and I don't know the exact time frame of this, is they've actually added cold storage. So I should back that up. I know at least on the PS5, the external drive thing was not for PlayStation 5 games. You couldn't play the games off of an external drive because of data transfer rates. But what they have added is the ability to put PS5 games into cold storage on an external drive. So when you want to use it, it's there. You don't need to download it or anything like that.
So you can clean the fridge, but not throw the food away.
Yeah, I think something similar to that is on the. See, I don't know because I don't do it, but I know that they've also come out now. You can actually replace the drive in your PS5. Like there are drives out there that you can replace the internal.
I replaced the drive in my PS4. Had a friend boot me up a terabyte drive in that machine.
Yeah.
Still not enough room.
No, I mean, if you're going to go all digital, that's the thing. I mean, the games have gone up in size exponentially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the risky. Well, there's a lot of risks. And I mean, I guess that gets back to our original conversation because we were talking about, I think we all agree. Well, at least Paul, I know you and I agree that I preferred Virtual Console when you could buy the games you wanted to.
Exactly.
Because it felt like, because there wasn't a yearly rental, and I fully admit that it's not expensive. Don't get me wrong. $20 a year is nothing.
I'm
Especially
happy to pay
considering
that.
we're paying way more than that on the other two consoles just for online play. But it feels like to me, and I've said this many times before on the show, that it's created this weird barrier where they refuse to release games in a they come out it's every quarter. CJ will always remind me. They only come out per quarter. It's only 3 or 4.
Yeah.
On the NES side, it's very cool that they've released different versions of the games, but there's like, multiple versions of the same game that are kind of like mods or anything like that.
There's a special version of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And then, we have this whole famous thing recently where like the Super Nintendo update was like Bomboozle and
Claymates.
3 games that nobody wanted. Claymates. Right. So it's like when you look back at the old Virtual
Claymates
Console,
fan. Come on.
When you look back at the old Virtual Console days, we had an expanded amount of systems immediately. There were a lot of games available for most of them, not all of them.
No,
and I think it was because you had the choice to buy them. So you needed a big catalog to choose from. So, yeah.
So
but
here's
you don't own any of that stuff. When all that stuff goes dead, if you don't have them downloaded, they're gone forever, which is
if they're downloaded, do they stay on your console? You can still play them?
On the old system, yeah.
But the new one,
Switch Online, I don't think
Switch
so.
Online, right? If you're not, that's just that's so frustrating. Here's something I wanted to bring up too, Phil. You can commiserate with me on this from a toy collector standpoint, and I think this is kind of what we're seeing. We're seeing the beginning of this, and I shouldn't be putting these ideas into these game people's heads, but here we are. We have services like Hasbro Pulse, and their Collectors Club version of Hasbro Pulse, where you pay for the privilege to pre-order special toys.
I know, right?
You have to pay to get, dude. You have to pay to get into the store.
Yeah,
so that's where
like this just is a nice reminder that it's not just the video game industry that's
not at all. But unfortunately, I think where one goes, the rest may follow. And that's the thing, that again, that's why I kind of cling to physical media in some aspects, but I've abandoned all hope in others.
What's the rationale they give behind that? Is that to keep scalpers
early access
buying everything?
I guess that might fit into it. Phil could probably speak more to this because he's done more Pulse stuff than I have. I got Hero Quest through their Kickstarter.
Oh my God, Hero Quest
thing. Yeah, I went all in for the big new, which should be coming sometime later this month.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be shipping out. But you went all in on the Unicron thing. You can speak to how that experience went.
Yeah, because Hasbro Pulse that's their online store. That's their online store, and within the online store they have the Has Lab, which is the Kickstarter type thing, which is where Unicron came into play and that sort of thing.
Same place where I got Hero Quest.
Oh, nice. And I just got because they just finished doing another Transformer one just a few days ago.
Star
Saber, yeah.
Star Saber.
Right? So I ended up I got that, of course.
Well, that was even more successful than Unicron.
It was also a
cheaper.
Third of the price. Yeah.
That makes a huge difference.
yeah, absolutely.
More units, less money.
I mean, the fact that like when they announced Star Saber and they were like, oh, it's going to be $180 or whatever, I was like, oh wow, that's super cheap.
It's just like, that's nothing.
Is it? It's absolutely not.
I know, right? It's not, but you go, oh, dude,
but
I know.
After $600 Unicron, I'm like, oh, $200, nothing.
This is.
I got that in my couch cushions, I'm sure. but yeah, so when they started Hasbro Pulse, their online store, they announced, they were like, yeah, this is going to be kind of a paid service. You pay, I forget, was it $50 a year or something like that to basically
something like that? I don't know.
Gain access to their store, and for the first year, they gave people like a free membership. They allowed you to do it for free. And
that must be why I ordered some stuff from there, because I did not sign up.
Yeah. It was a free at first.
And now,
yeah, they have like
got a
exclusive
taste.
toys you can only get through there, and yeah,
boy.
early access to pre-orders and stuff. But then, then they started charging for it. As soon as they started charging for it, I was like, no, thank you. I'm not. I'm not what I'm kind of going back to what Greg said, and of course he's not here right now, so whatever. But
was that sound effect because his IBS just acted up again? Is that what's going on?
That's what's. Look, Greg's having a difficult couple of weeks. We can't. All we can do is support him.
What are you eating, Greg?
During this try, it's all that poutine, man. That's he's putting the poo back in poutine.
Oh, he's chorking his gungans all the way to the porcelain Naboo.
Oh, we understand that the gungans enjoy a good chorking.
Chork them down.
This dates back to my early drafts. The Wills were the master chorkers.
They're ethereal spirits that chork.
So the magic fairies who live on the forest moon, they would...
And the Wookiees on Kashyyyk, they're chorkers as well. Taraskasi is a form of chorking.
In fact, it was through the great chorking mines where Han Solo first met the mighty Chewbacca.
Yeah. It was deep in the bowels of Coruscant. They happened upon each other.
Oh man,
an old chork miner. Scruffy looking nerf herder.
What was I saying? Oh, going back to what Greg was
something about chorking. Yeah.
About chorking.
Yeah.
No, about the scalpers.
Sure. Right.
That Hasbro charging people to get into their store is probably their way of getting the money instead of the scalpers.
Or just getting money off the top from the scalpers.
Yeah, exactly.
Because scalpers are going to pay that extra money, and then they're just going to charge even more.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mess, and if is this a thing that's going to happen with video games? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I guess there's not as much chance of scalping per se.
No. But the charging for kind of
upcharging to get exclusive content.
We're already starting to see that a little bit in terms of like the some of these digital releases where if you buy like the digital deluxe edition, you can start playing the game a few days earlier.
Oh, that's been happening for a long time.
Yeah,
right.
I think EA's been doing that for quite a while.
Have they really?
Yeah. For their sports games.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the new Fatal Frame game, which is coming. Doesn't look great, but I'm going to buy it because I love that series.
Yeah, and
it's hard to get that series at a reasonable price, and they haven't they should just re-release the old series. Damn it! Come on, Koei Tecmo. But the new one you can download. It's going to be $40 for the basic, and then $60 if you want to get a digital booklet and a bunch of costumes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like $20 for digital booklet and costumes?
Yeah.
No. I don't know. It's the same thing with all the Street Fighter stuff. I buy the characters, but the costumes have to wait until they're like bone cheap. And even then I don't get all of them because they charge out the wazoo.
You're talking about Street Fighter 5, which I have not played. And I almost...
Well, why would you?
Well, that's the thing. And a couple months ago, I saw it went on sale for kind of cheap. The base game or whatever.
Yeah.
It was on sale for cheap. And I was like, oh, man, I like Street Fighter. Maybe I'll give it, I've heard it's not as good as the others, but Hadoukens. I like Hadoukens. Right. So I was going to pick it up. And then it's like, it's cheap. And I start seeing all but if you want all the other 50 characters, it's going to cost you like another $90 to get all the season passes. And I was just like, you know what? Don't need it that bad. And I didn't even bother. So,
well, eventually, because even with Street Fighter 4, which I bought almost all the DLC for back in the day, there was some that you just couldn't even get. And then finally, on my PS4, I bought a full version at a very deep discount, years after the game was out, of course. It was like, 8 years since. Which, believe it or not, guess how long Street Fighter V has been out?
Street Fighter 5.
4 years.
I'm gonna say 6.
You're right.
Which one?
It's going on 7. Yeah.
Oh my, really?
Yeah. We're into our 6th year of Street Fighter.
I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but as you get older, which we all are, time speeds up.
Dude,
really. Yeah.
I'm telling you, Ryu with a full
Except
walker at this point. Yeah. So Greg, we don't know exactly where this is headed, if it is going to start to become more of, well, I mean, it is already pay to play in a way. Like, if you don't have a subscription to these services, you can't go and shop and download games.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, getting back to the Nintendo Online portion of this, the way this looks to me is, I'm trying to remember, and maybe Phil, if you remember this, like with Super Nintendo and NES stuff, were you able to play online? Like, were you able to play multiplayer online and any of that stuff? Do you remember?
With the
like with the NSO stuff
the NSO?
for NES and Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
You were,
yeah,
okay.
That was one of the selling points of it, was you could play those games online.
Because that's the thing, obviously, with like N64, like Mario Kart 64 being an example that people are really excited about. Honestly, I feel like Nintendo has kind of realized that they're undercharging for this, and they're using this as an excuse to balance
get more
that
in
out,
line with what
or
everybody else
worse.
is charging.
Right,
Yeah.
for better or worse. I still think as an online service, it's not as good as what you get on the other consoles, but you're also not paying as much as you're paying on the other consoles. So, I mean, I think that's the thing. I feel like tying it to N64 and Genesis games on NSO, especially when, and I always harp on this, but I'm going to say it again, especially when their track record for releasing new games on the NSO service has been terrible. Like, if you're going to charge me more, I expect more, and so far you haven't shown that you're going to do that.
Clay Fighter 64,
right? Like, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope the next
Mr.
quarter,
Frosty.
Yeah, I hope the next quarter is a collection of great games for both of those, because then what they're doing now is creating this 2-tier service that I don't see that lasting.
No, it probably won't. And I think there is also something to be said, like just what you were talking about, how they're probably realizing that they can charge more, so they should. Every other system does charge more, and to bring it more in parity with that. But really also, there's just a perceived value, whether or not they should be charging more or not. If someone looks at that and goes, "Oh, it's $100 for me to get all the cool Microsoft stuff," but Nintendo only charges 20. Yeah, that must be nothing. But right, see, so that maybe there's even like it's just a missed. They don't even mess with it because they feel like it's got to be nothing at that price. I don't know.
That could be it, but I think that now with this is going to have the opposite effect. And again, I don't know, because there are a legion of people who they don't care what Nintendo does. They're good. Right. And to be fair, that happens on the other consoles as well, but the Nintendo fans are.
Oh, there's no people there's no rabid Sega fans. Let's be real.
But no, what I think
Sonic was never good from what I heard.
I think what it's God damn it. I think what it's going to do is sort of lay bare the fact that Nintendo Online was so cheap.
Yeah.
Was kind of a built-in excuse to say, yeah, they don't have, chat, voice chat and all that sort of thing. I don't really care. It's $20 a year. I know that's how I felt about it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That was my thought.
Now that the price is going up, now I'm starting to think, wow, those features that I didn't really care that I didn't have, why don't I have those? Right? So I'm interested to see, and also the fact that, like, I know that they've tied the Animal Crossing expansion into this as well.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, which is great, but they've also hedged, right? Because you can just buy it,
just by itself.
Right. So they're not tying it entirely to the subscription service, which, I mean, we've seen Nintendo do stuff like that before. And to be fair, the couple times in the past that they've hedged, I think they've done the right thing. Like when the DS was released, You remember way back when the Nintendo DS was released, Nintendo did not throw their weight behind that console. They were like, it's a tent pole. It's one of three. The Game Boy Advance
they were
thing,
they were
the
saying
DS
it
is a
wasn't even
thing.
necessarily the follow-up to the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
They were saying
And
there's
then
going to
it
be other
took
Game
off.
Boys. Yeah.
Right, and then it took off, and then the Game Boy was phased out.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Nintendo does that. That's fine, and they've done the right thing in the past. But I really don't see this two-tier system lasting all that long. Maybe that's just me.
I agree. I think it won't be Switch, but I think the next system they're going to have to figure out a way. And I think, unfortunately for them, or fortunately, they've got the lock on kids and families as a demo, right?
Absolutely.
So, and the big part of that is safety. And and you start to dance away from safety real quick when people can talk to your children.
Chat.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I know, and there's no, they're right. They're right. They've got the solution, and maybe they really are right.
Yeah.
Maybe but could they maybe include some kind of like Splatoon interface or a Miiverse interface again, where it's more signposts and things that are a little more innocuous.
Right.
I don't know. Those are all filled with nasty
That's why
stuff.
We don't work at Nintendo.
There's no good solution, man. We're seeing more and more that just any social media, this platform included, is garbage and detrimental to human existence.
I love that. I loved your shotgun blast there because we're in 4 different platforms right now, and you're still not wrong. Anyway, I think that we should probably move on from news and get on to what you've been playing. Good discussion. Thanks for carrying that on while I was gone. I had to step away for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was all like really intense and serious discussion.
Oh no, I've seen the chat. I know that it wasn't.
What? Hey.
To be fair, I didn't need to see the chat to know that it wasn't. I know who I'm on this show with.
It's all toy talk.
Okay.
Boy. Speaking of, I just saw that Hasbro Pulse has some exclusives going up next Friday.
It's they had did the PulseCon hit today? Was that today or tomorrow?
Yeah. I don't know when exactly it is. But I guess it must be today because they're announcing some of the stuff.
They were talking about. I saw the brands, but I didn't see the specifics that were coming out.
No, there's a Transformer toy that.
What is it?
It's the Ravage, the Beast Wars Ravage set. That is coming out. It's a 2-pack. You got Ravage in his from Beast
Panther
Wars,
mode.
He's in like that. Got his humanoid form, and he turns into a panther. And then he also comes with his G1 version as well. So you get the
cassette.
Mm-hmm.
Is it compatible with the current?
It's just the old G1 mold.
It's an old G1 mold with the metal and everything.
I don't know if it's got the die cast in there, but I mean it is just the old G1
lead. Straight up lead. Yeah. Pewter. Yeah. They're going pewter now.
Oh, classy.
Yeah.
Get put them on a little
safety.
amethyst base.
Yeah. Or if it's a Mega Man statue, pewter.
Oh, I get it.
That's right.
That's how it goes. I like that. I like that.
Good.
We have over on the shelf there. We have a little amethyst rock with a little pewter wizard on it.
Oh.
I got that as a gift for Dana years ago
because feels fancy.
Because he
just knows the power of crystals. That's all.
Class up the joint.
I'm just saying, if you can get yourself a lady who appreciates a pewter wizard and a dragon standing on an
give me a pewter wizard upon an amethyst rock.
Jesus Christ.
The greatest adventure is
kids on an amethyst rock. Where there's some pewter, there's a way. So, yeah. All right, go ahead, Greg. What's the next topic?
Good. Yeah, let me take control of this again. Listen.
Oh, there you go.
Gonna jump into what you've been playing.
What have we,
Paul? What have you been playing?
Well, CJ was kind enough to gift me a copy of the Tetris game.
If you're just here to run a commercial for CJ.
Now you know I'm his secret operative. The Tetris Effect, which is a beautiful Synthesia experience.
Yes.
It is pretty great. It is really pretty great. Well, spoilers, I read ahead on the tweets. Should I because this is
go ahead.
Can we go ahead and
just want to
there's a tweet on there talking about Luminous.
Oh, okay.
Seems like a waste of 240 characters.
Granted, but was Luminous not trying to accomplish something similar to what Tetris Effect has at this point pulled off pretty?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Luminous was going for that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't remember, Luminous was a puzzle game, kind of a match 4 sort of thing, sort of like columns with no colors. I don't know. It was an odd game.
How do you make columns sound worse than it already is?
I know, right? I know. It wasn't great, but it did do the thing that this new Tetris game does, which is incorporate every movement, every click, every line break into the soundtrack. Yeah. So it sounded effortlessly. Yeah, it was like a puzzle,
as a puzzle game, it accomplished what Rez accomplished.
Right. Hey, speaking of Rez, did you ever have that super attachment, Greg, for Rez?
No.
You didn't? How about you, Phil?
The trance vibrator?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in Japan years and years ago, I found
Phil was in a sex shop.
It was an adult gift shop.
It came with a cloth cover that was washable.
It's like, honey, this vibrator comes with a video game.
I found some trance vibrators, like a big stack of them. They were used.
Hopefully,
so they were so more expensive.
Pictures of previous owners on them.
There was a vending machine right outside the shop.
Oh Jesus!
Where you could get.
Panty stinker for you.
Stop it.
Oh my.
45 yen panty stinker. Yeah, I am gonna get us in trouble, but yeah, I wonder if if Tetris Effect isn't missing a big chunk of the market. Yeah. I mean, who do we need to talk to? CJ's got his finger on the pulse.
Controllers vibrate on their own now.
Yeah, but we need more.
Okay. Now, couldn't you? Was it Rez or was it another one of those types of games where you could actually link up multiple controllers to vibrate, even if they weren't controlling input? They would you could have like 4 controllers hooked up and like all 4.
I don't know if that was Rez. Was that Vib Ribbon?
I don't remember this at all.
No, I don't think it
wouldn't be Vib Ribbon.
No,
maybe it was Rez. I think that sounds like it might be a Rez thing.
Yeah. But
man, I had a terrible Rez experience. I bought a used copy and it didn't work. It was one of those it was one of those old school purple PS2 discs.
Okay. Yeah,
remember that? Yeah. They just went faulty after a couple years, and I got a refund. But
which, by the way, all that optical disc physical media that you're talking about keeping is all going to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I know people keep talking about the whole laser rot thing. Knock wood, I haven't had any of my stuff go south. You got to remember too, Greg. Everything that I've owned has been kept for 20 plus years in Vegas. And there is
so you're not dealing with a lot of moisture.
Well, tech companies move there to preserve their stuff.
Right.
Like that's the honest truth. Like there's
all I know is my DVD of Waterworld and my DVD of The Wizard both don't work anymore.
They don't work. Well, that might just be the quality of the film coming through.
Yeah, that's
a real possibility.
I don't disagree. Waterworld's like the oldest DVD I own. So it came in a jewel case.
I don't even realize that was on DVD.
Right? I bought it along with my $800 DVD player.
Wow. Oh, man.
That was your first purchase?
Well, it came with a copy of The Postman, but that movie sucked. So I bought Waterworld.
You were like,
he was all in on Costner back then.
Yeah, that's the only reason. The only reason you got a DVD player.
Was there another reason to buy a DVD player?
Finally.
First DVD I bought was Boogie Nights. So
actually, I will say the first DVD I actually bought was Dark City. But
the first, because I bought 2 DVDs at the same time. I bought the Ranma 1/2 movie, the first Ranma 1/2 movie, and Spice World. So
Jesus,
what a night of entertainment!
Absolutely. You know what?
Waterworld might be a little bit better.
I absolutely disagree. Absolutely,
not better than Ranma. Not better than Ranma.
No,
I love
Ranma. Yeah,
No,
Ranma.
Spice World is absolutely better than Waterworld. I'm sorry.
Listen,
Yeah.
Duel of the
Paul,
Worlds.
what have you been playing?
Yeah.
I've been playing the Tetris Effect game. I haven't been playing a ton because of the move.
Right.
And so everything's packed up except for my Switch and a little I bought a little emulator off of eBay. It's got a 2.5-inch screen.
Yeah.
Tiny. It looks like a Game Boy Advance it looks like an SP. Looks like an SP clamshell, but it's just got everything on there.
Nice.
Yeah, and hard to see the screen, but fun to play some little 5-minute games. The game that I have been playing that I think you would really I think you've talked about it before. I don't know if you've gotten it yet, is Cruisin Blast.
I gotta get that.
We gotta try that.
Yeah, neither of you have it?
Haven't broken down yet. But
What?
I know.
I mean, it's only $40.
I know.
Don't you want them to? I bought it. I bought it at full price because I do wait on sales for most of my stuff.
Yeah.
But when a game comes out that gets super great reviews and I want more of it, I try and support.
Yeah.
And man,
the only reason I haven't is because I got that Hot Wheels game, and I'm just
okay.
I'm kind of like, do I need that
too many of
like
the same
cutesy racing games at the same time?
Samey. I don't know. It's super fun.
It looks great. I
for
am
me,
dying to try it.
For me, it was more. Well, I've said this before. It was just like all that stuff hit right after I had bought Kana.
Oh, right.
I don't have the budget to buy a bunch.
Well,
of
and
games
you've also got that Player One or Arcade 1-Up cabinet sitting there for cruising, right?
No, it doesn't have cruising on it.
I'm not cruising.
You got the Outrun,
right?
Sorry, Outrun.
Although they have announced that they're releasing a Ridge Racer.
Oh,
that's right.
Which I want. That's gonna be like $1,000 Canadian. So
easily there. I can't believe the prices on those.
They're getting more expensive.
Yeah. It's nuts, but they're not. I don't know how much more they've improved them.
I don't think they have.
Not greatly, and the game selection is just not. But have you looked into like secondary? Is there a way to mod out your system that you can get some more driving games on that Outrun cab?
There is, but it's not. From what I've seen, it's not necessarily. Well, the ones that I've seen, it's not necessarily something that I feel confident
installing
myself.
They probably don't. Well, they probably just don't have it down yet because that's pretty new. That's a pretty new.
It's really about
machine.
Honestly. It looks like it's really about putting a PC in there, putting PC in that cabinet, like a main.
Yeah,
PC.
that depending on what you want to play, absolutely. And I think with a lot of those racing games and those high end, yeah, you're right.
That's the thing. Like that thing's running off a RetroPie, right? So
yes, if I want to play Killer Instinct, I can't do it on my emulation system that I have. It's a RetroPie. It's not
right.
Yeah. That's a couple grand more to really.
So I mean, I might do it someday, but yeah, either way,
nothing. Well, I mean, eventually there'll be RetroPie type devices that can do it.
Oh yeah, and I think we're probably really close, to be honest. But like I said, the fact that they're releasing a Ridge Racer, and I think it's got Ridge Racer 2 on it as well, or whatever the second Ridge Racer was in the arcade. The fact that they're releasing that as an arcade 1-Up makes me think that RetroPie has gotten to the point that they're going to be able to do that stuff. Because
I guess you're right.
I don't know
Technically,
what the performance will be like, but
you're right. Well, I wonder, are they going to do like a special dual cab edition? So you can do like side-by-side racing.
Oh yeah.
Or even just offer connection abilities.
That'd be cool. I know that when they went into, I think it was Outrun, when people who were hacking into the service menus and things, there was like an online mode that it didn't end up shipping with. I think it was Outrun that had that. Like
because most of their new cabinets do have online capability.
So the Ridge Racer cabinet gonna have Ridge Racer 2, Rave Racer, Ace Driver, and Ace Driver
2
Victory Lap.
Yeah. So it's 5 games.
Yeah. I don't even know what Ace Driver
which is more than the Outrun cabinet had, but I also don't know that it's, and I don't get me wrong, I loved the original Ridge Racer in arcades. It was out at the same, it was making the rounds the same time Daytona was, so I was spending a lot of time in arcades at that point, and I was spending a lot of money on Ridge Racer and Daytona, but $1,000 is real steep.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, we got to move on here. Anything else, Paul? Oh, so you were playing Cruisin Blast. What do you like? Clearly, you like it.
I do.
Do you find that it's more? Because I've watched people stream it,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely get San Francisco Rush vibes from that game, not Cruisin USA vibes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It feels more San Francisco Rush, because you're jumping all over the place and there's a lot more hidden spots, and it's just And I guess Rush was after Cruisin'.
I think
right?
so. Pretty sure.
I don't know. Yeah, but the thing about it is that visually, it's not. Of course, it's not going for gold, but it looks good.
Mhm.
And the key, they really stuck to the gameplay that makes those things super, super fun. Like I could hand that to a 4-year-old and feel confident that they could have a good time with it.
Yeah.
It's got that same kind of impossible to fail sort of thing.
Sure.
Like even if you come up short, and it's got some easier modes on it. So you get better, and then your cars amp up. So there's sort of an RPG, not RPG, I guess, but there's a leveling up system so that eventually you can just conquer. Oh my gosh, I forgot to talk about, I don't think I talked about this game did I ever talk about this game? I don't know, maybe I did. You guys ever played ramp car jumping?
No.
Ramp car jumping is like $1.50.
Okay.
And it's worth
what is
every
it like,
penny.
Is it like an eShop thing, or
it's on the Switch?
Okay.
What's so
ramp car jumping?
I think that's what it's called.
Typing that in. Ramp car jumping. Yeah, for Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Apparently, it's also on it's on Google Play too.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terrible game, but so
really
much fun. So much fun.
Really?
So much fun. It. Do you remember what game was that? The game. I can't remember what driving game it was. It was early 360, I want to say.
Okay.
Where there was a mode you could play where you could jump your car and it would fly into a dartboard type thing.
That sounds
remember
familiar. That actually sounds familiar. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's not like a Trackmania or something, is it?
No, it wasn't Trackmania. It wasn't a great game either, but that part of the game was really fun. Jumping your car and crashing it into a dartboard and making pieces fall off, and it was weird. That's what ramp car jumping is.
Yeah.
Is jumping and crashing into stuff and getting it to jump farther and farther. But you also amp up and amplify your engine.
Huh.
But there comes a point where you amplify your engine too much and then you just go forever.
Overshoot everything.
It's super clippy. There's a point in near the end where like there's this chain of archipelagos that you have to be so amped up that you just fly for like 3 minutes straight before you reach the goal. It's bizarre. But I had so much fun with that stupid game. And it is cheap and you should play it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm looking at it now. It's apparently
Please buy it, Phil.
It's $10 right now.
No.
Okay.
On the Switch?
That's what it's saying. On the Nintendo website, it's $10.49. What I have done, I've added it to my wish list.
All right. When that bad boy drops,
can buy it for him.
Next time it goes on sale for like $2 or whatever.
You know what? It could just be a lot of guys like me found it on the cheap, and now we're preaching the ramp car jumping fun.
Oh man, this was released about a year ago, November 20th, 2020, from the good folks at Boom Bit Games.
I love Boom Bit Games.
It definitely was a pandemic treat. it ate a day.
You're saying a lot of negative things happened last year, but at least we got
ramp car jumping.
Ramp car jumping. Okay. When this goes on sale, I will absolutely pick it up.
Please do. Yes. You will and yet won't be disappointed.
Phil,
best kind of games. Yeah.
What have you been playing?
I've just been playing a little more Metroid.
Yeah.
Metroid Dread. I'm at Kraid. I'm at the Kraid boss fight right now. So
I like that boss fight.
I got killed. So I need
That'll
to
happen.
go back and rethink my strategies. So
Did you get the amiibos?
I did get the amiibos. They're on that table behind me. They're sitting there.
I saw them. I didn't buy. I have a ton of amiibo, but I didn't buy those. I saw those the other day, and I was like, I've got the old Metroid ones.
Yeah,
and I didn't buy this game. I'm not a big Metroidvania guy. I played the hell out of 2 on my original Game Boy. Love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Metroid 2.
Samus Returns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I enjoyed that game.
That was my favorite. That was my Metroid game.
Yes.
What do the amiibo do for you on this one?
They will the 2 new ones, because it's a 2-pack. You get Samus in her new outfit, and you get an Emmy, and they will give you one of them. I want to say the Samus one will give you another health bar, so you get another 100 units of health, and that's like a permanent upgrade. And then the Emmy gives you, I believe, another 10 missiles as a permanent upgrade. And then every time you scan them after that, it's like a once a day thing where if you scan the Samus one, it will refill your health. So I guess, it could probably help you cheat. Like if you're fighting a boss or something and you're about to die, just quick scan Samus to refill your health. And the Emmy, I believe, just refills your missiles.
That's how I got through a ton of Mario Odyssey, was holding Peach in my hand with her wedding dress and just clonking. Yeah. And I had the res vibrator right next to me.
Yeah.
Talk about an Odyssey.
Yeah, you get like 6 of those daisy chained together, and you're just all over.
No, just Peach, no Daisy.
Okay. You get them peach chained together, and you're all good.
Exactly. It's weird. Again, here we are, like barriers to entry, pay to play.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
I mean that's I wouldn't really level that criticism at Metroid Dread, though. I mean,
I guess
nice
not.
to be able to heal. But I mean, you die so much in that game anyway, and then you're back to full health.
What is that?
I mean,
why do we still have it dying?
Yeah. What Phil said is true. I mean, in a boss fight, that would come in pretty handy if you're having trouble with a boss fight. That's absolutely true. The missiles, I don't know how handy the missiles would come in, because honestly, in my experience with that game, you go through missiles fast in that game.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I had to teach myself with some of the bosses was, and I don't know if this is just sort of me being such an old man and remembering how these games used to be, or a lot of different games used to be, whereas like I would hesitate, I would fire a missile, excuse me, and then I'd wait for a second, or however, a fraction of a second, because I assumed that the monster I was fighting had an invincibility, just a tiny bit of invincibility, where they were flashing, and then realized a little bit into that game, like, no, you just need to unload on things as fast as possible. But because of that, you go through missiles pretty quick.
Right.
So, and I mean, that makes it sound like more missiles would be good, but you go through them so fast, it probably wouldn't feel like they made much of a difference. But yeah, refilling health would be great. It'd be nice if there was something to just put the Emmys to sleep and be even better.
Do the other amiibo have effects? The other Metroid amiibo?
I believe they do, but I think it is also kind of the same, just like, refill your health once a day or whatever. And I don't know if I use the Metroid Dread Samus amiibo to refill my health, can I then bust out the Smash Brothers Samus?
Just have your amiibo just lined up.
I know, like I got like my
that's
20
how
different
that's
Samus.
what I did for Zelda. For Zelda,
really?
I already had so many Zelda amiibo. From the old ones plus all the new ones that came out for Breath of the Wild. So every day I was scanning like 16 amiibo to get all the super drops, but it really helped.
Yeah.
See, I based on the sort of the design philosophy that's clear behind Metroid Dread, I doubt they would let you heal over and over again.
Yeah, probably not.
So
because I think I have all the Metroid themed amiibos. Because there's a handful of them,
right?
But 5.
Well, you got the 2 Dread ones. There is the
2-pack of the old school style ones that came out with the new Game Boy game,
Samus,
or the DS game.
Was that the Metroid as well?
a Metroid breaking out of its little glass chamber.
Yeah,
that was a
And
cool
then
one.
you've
and then you got the original Samus
oh yeah,
from Smash Brothers.
Samus, and then Dark Suit Samus.
You got the dark suit
from
Samus,
Amiibo from
and you
Smash.
got Ridley.
Oh right, Ridley. Oh yeah, so there's 7.
Yeah, and I think I have all of them. So
yeah, well, those Amiibos add up.
Yeah, they do.
So, as I tweeted earlier this week, because I was playing this week as well.
Yeah,
I have put that game down.
You quit, like
I
a
quit.
quitter.
Yep.
Man, oh man.
I was on, and it actually wasn't the Emmy that I'm about to talk about that that led me to quit the game, but I was down to 2 of them left.
Okay.
So I feel like it's about 7 hours into the game.
Yeah.
And I just realized, because spoiler warning, I guess I should probably say, and I don't think this won't really spoil anything for you, Phil, because I won't tell you why it happens, but there's a story beat that takes the Emmys out of the equation for a chunk of the game.
Yeah.
And then they come back. And that's fine. But during that portion of the game, I was finding myself, I was enjoying everything around the Emmys stuff anyway. And not having to deal with it, I was really, really getting into the game. So I was sort of picking it up and playing it whenever I could, right? Like over my lunch hours and stuff like that. And then they came back, and I was sort of pushing on and really trying to soldier on through things that I wasn't enjoying. And then I realized for about a 3-day stretch that I hadn't enjoyed the game while I was playing it. I spent more time cursing at it and being really, like, oh my God, I have to do this again. So it's like, you know what? I came to the conclusion that, the game's not for me. And you can argue and debate over whether it's good design or bad design. I have my opinions on that stuff. Clearly there was a design philosophy behind it. Like we mentioned last week or the week before, I don't think this game, I feel like putting an easy mode in this game would kind of go against what they were trying to accomplish with the game. Especially when it comes to the Emmys. I think putting an easy mode in there would really take away from what the reason they're there, right? Yeah. I mean, they're supposed to be there because, you done screwed up and you're dead. Try again. So as much as I would love there to be something like that there, I do understand why it's not there. And for people who are looking for that kind of challenge, it's great. But I had to really push myself to get as far as I did. And I don't mean from a skill point level, but just from an enjoyment level. And then when I realized that I'm doing this because I feel obligated to, as opposed to enjoying it, I was like, yeah, I'm done. And unfortunately, because of sort of the technical expertise, I guess, because I mean, we talked about this last week, Phil, where, man, Samus has a lot of, you use every button on that controller.
Oh yeah.
And you need to know where everything is in a fraction of a second because, and it only gets more complicated as the game goes on. It's one of those games that I feel like if you put it down, especially as far in as I was, I can't pick this up again in a month. I'm going to be completely, and it's not even about being lost. It's about the skills having atrophied enough that I just will not be capable of dealing with the situation. Because one of the things that I will say, and I will argue that I think is poor design, but again, this is what they're going for. It feels more like something in the vein of like a Souls game.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Right, and there are people who love those challenges, and
I love that series. I wanted to ask you. Well, go ahead, finish your
so anyway, yeah, my biggest thing. There's 2 things in particular. They kind of intertwined. When you take the Emmys out of the equation, which they did at one point, the Samus never feels powered up. And I get that the game is called Dread. And, every time you talk to the computer, it's telling you like, you're outclassed, you're outnumbered, you're screwed, you have no hope. Like the computer, every time you get into a scene where the computer's talking to Adam, I think it's driving that home, right? You're still screwed, even though you've got all this stuff and you've got, like, at one point, I think he actually says you've got almost all of your abilities back. You're still screwed. So they really go for that. So you never, ever, ever feel powered up in that game. Again, I realize it's on purpose, but that's not what I'm looking for. And in previous Metroids, at least the ones that I have strong, good memories of, you know, you do get to a point where you're kind of running through, especially older areas where it's like, you know, you're just charging through because nothing can hurt you. You're super powered at that point, right? So it's a huge switch from there. And then the other thing that's kind of intertwined with that, which again we spoke about I think last week, was how the game loves to lock doors behind you. Mm-hmm. There is exploration and there is backtracking eventually, but you know, there's I don't know how many different kinds of locked door there are in the game, right? Like there's the ones you can open with your regular shot. There's ones you can open with the triple plasma shot. There's ones you can open once you've upgraded that shot. There's missile doors. There's super missile doors. They're probably ice missile doors. I have no idea. Yeah. And because you don't choose every time you upgrade your gun, it's just, you know, it just upgrades. And you don't choose them, the weapons, and you never ever get powered up. The new weapons feel like keys. They don't feel like power, you know? So anyway, those are the two things that I really do feel could have been done differently. But again, that game is just not for me. So
did you go on to watch someone finish it? Have you?
No.
So it really just didn't even hold you.
No, and I was actually getting into the story. There is a good story there, but yeah, I was just too frustrated by it, and I'm kind of in the back of my head thinking like, someday I might go try to do a Metroid run through, and maybe I'll try this game again. But I'll probably check out a run through of it at some point. I mean, you know, I keep seeing people uploading videos, especially on Twitter, because also if you want to get 100% of the items, man, some of the acrobatics you have to pull off to reach some of the items in the game is like, what do they call that? Like in the Mario Maker levels, Kaizo or Kaizo?
Oh, the like super
like
difficult
perfect,
just for the yeah.
That's what you need to be able to do to get every item in Metroid. Now, it's not required.
Sure.
But, you know, and if you see somebody do it, you're like, wow, that is crazy impressive. Like that is, you are
I'm that way
skillful.
I'm that way about the Souls games. I cannot stand playing them.
Yeah.
But I can watch them endlessly.
Oh, yeah.
If I can watch a good runner play Souls, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But I don't know what, there's something just does not click with me for those games, control wise and all of it. And I think they're beautiful and so cool.
Yeah. And Dread, you know, Dread belongs. Dread, this is not another M. This is not another other M situation where it's just a terrible Metroid game.
Right.
This game belongs and deserves the respect that the Metroid series has. It belongs with that series. Absolutely. It's very well done. But I'm likening it to kind of like the way I feel about Final Fantasy games now. I mean, when I was in my 20s and coming up through the years, Final Fantasy was one of my favorite series. But I realized at around Final Fantasy 12 that series has left me behind. It's not for me anymore, right? It's for the new fans that are going to continue buying them into the future. But I feel like this might be that turning point for Metroid for me as well. I hope it's not, but I feel like it could be.
So this is technically the answer of Metroid 4 that was teased, right? From way back.
That was Metroid Prime 4 that was teased.
Was it?
Yeah. So this one was actually hinted
because it just said a 4, right? Remember way back?
Yeah, but that was Prime.
That was Prime. Okay.
That apparently is still coming.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, this one was hinted at way back, and I forget which game it was, but somebody was actually talking about. I was watching a Metroid retrospective, and someone was mentioning how if you played this game from, I don't know, over a decade ago, there's actually a mention of what was going to be Metroid Dread.
Okay.
So, but
was that like Fusion or something?
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah. Because Fusion was the one where they introduced the
X parasite.
The X parasite. Yeah.
Right. So, interesting.
There you go.
But yeah, anyway.
You think you'll ever go watch it? Or you will at some point?
I probably will, because I can't see myself ever finishing it. So.
Phil, you're gonna finish it.
Oh yeah. I just gotta, like I said, I'm currently just stuck at Kraid, so I gotta just give it another couple attempts and figure out the pattern.
Get good if you're stuck at Kraid. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, gets worse from there. Well, that's the thing. It's like so far the game is, I have no trouble with the game until I get to either an Emmy or a boss, and then it's just die until I figure out the pattern. But then nothing else in that game is.
The Emmys get ratcheted up big time. You have not experienced pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, just be ready for it. It's
okay.
That is what it is. So
Doke. Let's see what happens. But
anyway.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing for the most part, other than, a couple Sega cross puzzles or something like that. But
I need to go back and finish this. So I have a couple of, and we're getting pretty long on the episode here. So I have a couple more games that I wanted to talk about real quick that I was playing. We talked about Gunpool, Gunman's Proof for the Super Famicom last week. And Phil, you pointed out, how cringeworthy the enemy characters are. I'm here to say it gets worse.
No.
But I'll tell you what, I went back and finished the game. That is a real good game.
Oh yeah?
I mean, you got to look past that, kind of like you do with, like, say, Sunset Riders and Chief Scalp'em.
Yeah.
But if you look past that, this is a really fun little sort of Western themed Zelda light.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed it. It was only like probably 5 or 6 hours long.
Okay.
And it's just also underrated soundtrack, as in you've never heard of this game, so you've never heard the soundtrack. Good soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Especially the boss music. Boss music's like a ska track. It's really cool.
Yeah, the old ska cowboy.
Yep. Hey, none of it makes any sense.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
None of it makes any sense, and that's the charm. So anyway, highly recommend that. We were talking about racing games earlier, and I was going to jump into it, but we sort of got off track.
Black and white checkerboard bolo.
Yep. Phil's is going to keep going. There was another racing game that came out this past week on Steam and on Xbox, I think, is the only two places it's in right now. Called Circuit Superstars, which is, you should go look it up, Phil. I think you'd really at least like the look of this. I think it's published by the Square's indie label. It's a really cute looking overhead racing game.
This looks like Super Sprint.
Yeah, except Super Sprint was single screen, and that makes a big difference.
Okay.
So this is, but it's a I would say more like RC Pro-Am than anything else.
Okay.
So it's sort of it's an overhead racer.
I can see that. Yeah.
It's an overhead racer.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. It's got this super cute, sort of super deformed look to it.
Yeah.
And it covers a lot of different types of racing, which is nice. Like, it's the main ones are like different kinds of sports car racing, and different kind of Grand Prix race, so open wheel racing, and they sort of go through the years. And they've done that thing where, and the rally game, that Art of Rally, I think, does the same thing that I was talking about a few weeks ago, where it's like, if you get into like the classic 80s Grand Prix, of course, none of it's licensed, but like the liveries that are on the cars are clearly based on F1 liveries from the 80s. So if you were big, and you guys don't really know what I'm talking about, I'm sure, but if you're a big like McLaren fan, if you're a big like Ayrton Senna fan, you'll see there's a car that has that red and white Marlboro livery without the word Marlboro on it. That was iconic back in the 80s and early 90s.
Now, wait, are we talking like how Wheeljack used to look, like the old Marlboro Wheeljack Transformer toy, like back when he was Diaclone?
Must be.
He was more of a Castrol. Oh, I haven't seen that livery.
All right, he was Castrol.
Yeah. When he came here, it was more of a Castrol livery.
But yeah, there was over in Japan. I think it was just back during pre-Transformers. That would make sense. He had the Marlboro design.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense. And actually, something coming out of Japan would make huge sense, because Ayrton Senna was massively popular in Japan, although
really?
he was late 80s when he was in that car. But cigarette companies used to be the major sponsors in all international motorsports. So, but anyway, yeah, it's a really cool little game. It takes a while to get used to the control. It's only $20. Takes a while to get used to the control. It's a little floaty. And my biggest issue with controlling it right now is that it's because of the way it's kind of floaty. You can't necessarily always make fine adjustments when you're going down like a straightaway or something. So the car, you feel like you're wandering a little bit. And the only other big issue that I'm trying to deal with in that right now is if you hit a wall at any decent speed, the way the collision works is it just literally turns the car 180 degrees. So if you hit a wall on one side, you're facing the other wall. So if you just hold the gas down, you're just going to run into the other wall. But I mean, I recommend it. And for the price, like I said, it's quite cheap. You can't really go wrong. You're going to get some fun out of it.
I'm looking
and
here.
It's got couch multiplayer.
Yeah,
which is nice, and I think you can also play it online.
It's out on Steam and Xbox One, and it says here
nothing for the Switch yet, huh?
Well, PS4 and Nintendo Switch are coming soon.
Oh,
this is
still twice as much as ramp car jumping.
Fair, but it's not a Nintendo game, so it might go on sale.
Oh, sounds good.
But anyway, I recommend it. I didn't know anything about it until somebody in our Discord brought it up. Yeah. And it's like, I'll take a chance on this. It looks really nice. And yeah, it's got the different racing disciplines are a nice touch. You will need to work at it to grasp the control when you get into the faster cars. But that's kind of the way a game like this should be, right? Okay. So, but yeah, I recommend it. I recommend checking it out. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The last game that I want to talk about real quick before we do, I don't know, one tweet, is Jet: The Far Shore, which is the new Super Brothers game.
Yeah.
And I have to point out that this was actually given to me by somebody, one of our listeners who doesn't want to be named. So, Voldemort, exactly. This game should be God, it should be right up my alley. So it's
God alley.
Indie, yeah. Indie game with interesting art style.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to be the pilot of a jet, a craft that you're trying to. I think, and the reason I'm saying I'm not sure about this, I think the story is that you're trying to find a new place for your people to live by going to a different planet and searching it. Almost the entirety of the game is done in this little ship that you're, at the best of times, the best parts of the game is when you're actually flying over water and you have a little bit of control. Like you have like this sort of jump mechanism that will send out like a shock wave underneath the ship, and you can actually dive under the waves. Sometimes you can really ride the sort of the undulating terrain and everything, which is nice. But when you're on the land, it controls kind of a lot worse. And there are a few first-person perspective sections where you get out of the ship and wander around, but nothing really happens in those. They're very linear. It's very story-heavy. And the main issue that I have with it is that they went sort of the like the eco route or their Panzer Dragoon series route, where they're speaking a made-up language, which I normally like. That's, it's very interesting and it fits the game aesthetic beautifully. But you have a co-pilot who doesn't shut up ever. And to know what he's saying, you need to read subtitles. But this is while you're playing, right?
Neum nub.
Because he's telling you things you're supposed to know.
Oh,
but it's like, I'm trying to see what I'm doing. Anyway. And then the other thing is that they'll constantly take away your ability to go quickly. So like there's a section that I'm in right now where we're trying. I'm just gonna charge through here. There's a section I'm in right now where there's a storm in the distance, and I can't go into it. So it's like, well, we're supposed to scan things on the land. We're supposed to get information to this place.
Yeah.
So it's a 20-minute segment where you are moving at a snail's pace and you're just trying to scan things. And well, Jabberjowls behind you won't shut up. So yeah, it's man.
What's the game called again?
Jet the Far Shore.
Jet the
Far Shore.
And it's getting, the first few reviews I saw of it were really, really highly rated. But now that I feel like now that more people have gotten their hands on it, that Metacritic score has been coming down.
Gonna dip.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, all right. Did you guys ever play a Short Hike?
No, that's on my list.
Oh. Neither of you did?
No.
I think CJ
really?
Did he?
Oh yeah.
I feel like if he played it, we're good. The show's covered.
10 on 10, man. One of my absolute favorite gaming experiences of the last year and a half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I need to play it.
And if you're into an indie game with a unique art style, bingo, bango, boingo.
I normally am.
And it takes you 5 hours.
Terrible.
5 hours, dude.
You're speaking my language now.
I'm telling you, it's so fun. It's such a good game.
Cheaper than Ramp Card Jumping right now.
Is it? What's it down to?
I'm seeing the Switch version is $8.
Paul's recommendation of the week.
25 Canadian.
Go buy
plus tax.
A Short Hike.
Short Hike. There it is. Look at that cute little
so
bird.
Good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Look at that cute little bird.
I can't believe you hadn't played it, Phil.
Yeah, I know. I've seen this. I just haven't heard anything about it.
I don't know if you've realized you've known Phil a while now.
Yeah.
He will constantly disappoint you.
I literally tweeted about it like
parents.
the bird. I tweeted at the game's production crew. I was like, you guys kick some butt
like
with this game.
The bird.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at
because the bird is the word. The bird is
that's what I've heard.
The bird's the protagonist. It's a sweet story. It's a beautiful little game. It's fun.
Okay.
It's non-violent. You could let your kids play it. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yawn.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so fun.
You just unsold me.
I just added that to my wish list. What do you think?
Yeah. All right.
I'll pick that
I'm
up.
happy.
I'll give that a go.
A Short Hike. If you haven't played it, it really is a short hike. That's great.
That's all I can handle. You've seen what I look like.
Amen.
I'm not built for long hikes.
This is the way to go.
I'm as spry as I used to be.
They put our community mailbox at the end of our street. What the hell is that about?
Oh. What? Oh my!
Criminals. I feel stupid driving the car for 100 feet, but you know.
Will they at least deliver packages to your door still?
Oh yeah, they drop packages off and don't knock on the door constantly. That's how that works. What do you mean it was delivered an hour ago? I didn't hear anything. Let's do some tweets.
Tweet-a-diddly-dee. Oh, tweet-a-diddly-dee. Tweet. A tweet.
I don't have any tweets ready.
Well, then why did I sing?
Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Base Guy GT. Gregory Toole, it looks like the name he goes by. That's probably his real name. Have there ever been any consoles for which you didn't use the included controller as your primary option? For me, I use a PS4 controller with an 8-bit DO adapter when playing the Switch docked. The Joy-Cons are fine in handheld mode, but I prefer a full-size controller on the TV.
I only play my 360 with my Res Vibe fully docked.
Jesus Christ. Wait, fully docked?
Yeah.
Wink.
Get it up in there.
Oh my.
No.
Turn to the left. Turn to the left.
I guess I went through a very brief phase in the Dreamcast days where, you know, we all went to college, right? We all stuck our fishing controller on. We all stuck our fishing controller on the Soul Calibur for a couple games, right? We all did that.
You're saying when you were high, you were.
I grew out of that phase. It was a phase. It was a phase.
I'll agree with one thing for the original tweet. The Joy-Cons suck.
Oh, Joy-Cons are terrible.
Yeah.
They're terrible. The Pro is so good though.
The Pro I like.
Yeah. I use the Pro exclusively when playing Switch for sure.
Do you both have the real deal Nintendo first party Pro that lets you scan Amiibo on it and everything? I do too. I was wondering if either of you have any experience with second parties.
The nicest third party Xbox controller I've ever owned.
Right? Oh man, it does feel like an old 360 stick in a lot of ways. Have you had any experience with other sticks for the Wii Switch?
We did get I have one of those. I mean, it's a licensed one, but it's I
they've
forget
got
the
such cool
manufacturer.
designs.
Well, that's just it. Finn wanted for Christmas last year. He wanted an Animal Crossing themed controller. They have them with the different games and stuff. So he was super into Animal Crossing at the time. He wanted his own Switch controller, and he wanted the Animal Crossing one. So we got it. And like I said, it's a licensed one and everything. But he uses it. He has no complaints about it. But it does always seem like a little tricky, kind of getting it to recognize, like getting the system to kind of recognize the controller. There's always like a minute or so when we turn it on. It's like, hold on, let's see what get the controller configured and get it to pop up. And it's like, sometimes it's like, well, let's turn it on with one of the first party controllers, and then we'll bring the second controller in. So it's always, it's always a little tricky getting some of that stuff to work, but other than that, I think I've always used the
main peripherals.
Yeah.
I had and this was something that I sold in my video game purging. I still had 2 and 1 mint in package of the Street Fighter 6-button flat controllers for the Super NES.
Oh wow.
Did you ever see those?
I vaguely I'm trying to remember. Did those come in like a fancy box with like a little flip top thing? No, I'm thinking of something else then, aren't I?
Those are 360 sticks and PlayStation 3 with the 15th anniversary stuff that came out.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Maybe 20th anniversary. No, 15th anniversary. I think there was maybe 20th.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, the controller I'm talking about was specifically for Street Fighter on a blister card.
Oh.
And it's Chun-Li was on the blister card, and it's just got the D-pad on the one side and then 6 circular buttons over on a separate panel. You kind of,
I know exactly what you're
you
talking
can't
about.
twist it, but it kind of looks,
it's got like a twisted look to it.
Looks kind of bent.
Yeah,
funny way to hold it. Yeah. But I use that for a couple other games occasionally.
I was playing Street Fighter on a Genesis 6 buttons, so
right. It's a lot like a Genesis 6 button layout wise.
This is the one where it's like the left side has like a little like extra little chunk of plastic to kind of rest
hold
in your
on
palm.
to. Yes.
Yeah, I have seen these. I'm looking at pictures of them now. So
I had 2 of those.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hardcore. I think for me, it's I don't know if it was just because early on, any time I tried a third-party controller on like my NES, it was invariably garbage.
I heard you guys badmouthing the Max the other day. I take issue. The Max was great. It was great. I really love the Max. My brother and I got used to using the Max because not only
got used to it.
I don't know. No, I mean, I don't know if it was maybe we got a good one, but we really enjoyed that circular D-pad.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed that. And the turbo button functions were indispensable.
Well, yeah.
See, I was using the NES Advantage. So.
You started off with that?
I didn't start with it, but I ended up
But you had that before you had a Max?
Oh, God, yeah.
See, and that's a far more precise device.
Yeah.
That's super clicky. The Max is not clicky. It's floaty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's terrible. But
You're wrong.
No, but like invariably, like even the wireless controllers you get, like the ones from Acclaim, and just every time I tried a third-party controller, especially on the NES, but also on the Genesis, they're just terrible. They were.
My brother had one.
Like Turbo Touch 360 was garbage, and so I got into this mode of thinking where I just don't bother trying third-party controllers at this point.
Yeah,
because in my head, they're just going to be terrible.
I'm with you on that bias is ingrained in my head because of the weird experiences we had as kids, because they were way worse.
Mm-hmm.
They were way worse.
Yeah.
We had one for the NES called the Mega. My brother got this for a birthday gift. This thing, Are you looking up the Mega?
I'm just thinking of the idea of getting a crappy controller as a birthday gift, which is such a classic birthday gift.
He loved it. He loved it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was what it was. I don't think we used it that much, but it had all kinds of programmable stuff and had an LED screen in the middle of it.
Like it has the word Mega slapped on it, like
made out of brick, made out of crazy in brick font. Yeah. I remember the thing, but it also had what was really cool. We used that specifically on Rygar and on Mega Man titles.
Well, you have to. I mean, it's right there in the name.
Well,
the Mega controller.
It had, of course, slow-mo.
Yeah.
Which for anyone who really knows, it's just pause.
Yep.
And man, one shot of Elect Man with the Mega, and you are killing everything. Every boss is dead in one shot with the Mega.
You know who made the Mega controller?
I am very curious.
I'm going to guess Codemasters.
Bandai.
Really?
That was a Bandai controller. Yeah, I did not realize that.
I mean, the construction was good. It was a solid piece of equipment. And it worked well enough. It wasn't like total jank, but it was odd, and we didn't use it a ton.
That's crazy. Okay. The NES Mega.
Yeah.
I think we're going to end the show there. Before we get into the outro, which I really don't remember CJ's part for this, but before we get into the outro, I just want to call out that we're just under 3 weeks away from the 2021 Extra Life 24-hour marathon. November 6th is the day that's happening. If you head over to my Extra Life page, which is extra-life.org/participant/Greg Stewart, CJ will probably put a link in the show notes. You can make a tax-deductible donation to the IWK Health Center here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is, of course, our children's hospital that serves most of the region. I'm currently sitting at $4,045 raised for the year. My goal again is $10,000 this year. The theme of the marathon this year is Xbox versus GameCube, because as old as it makes me feel, the Xbox and the GameCube turned 20 this year.
I'm sorry. My lower half just became dust.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
So what I'm doing also, because I'm afraid to ruin these old pieces of hardware, I'm doing 12 hours of Xbox, 12 hours of GameCube, and I'm alternating. Give each system a rest. So
put those boys through their paces. They're old dogs. They can handle it.
Yeah. So as I've done in the past, I'm asking for if you want to go and make a $50 donation, you can choose one of the games I'll play for one of those hours. As of now, there are 2 Xbox hours left. I believe there are 4 or 5 GameCube hours left.
Okay.
So if that's something you're interested in, please go do that ASAP, because the schedule will fill up probably this week, I would think. And yeah, in the meantime, Twitch TV/Seward on November 6th. We're going to have about $6,000 left to raise before the end of the year, but I know we can do it. We've smashed the $10,000 mark for multiple years now.
Yeah.
So I know we can do it. And we're actually approaching $100,000 raised.
Dang.
Wow.
Which I'm
that's just proud of. That's just you.
Yes.
That's just you. Look at
That's my campaign over the last 11 years.
That's
amazing,
fantastic.
dude. Amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so please donate. Or you know what? And if you don't want to give $50 and you don't have $50 to give, I totally understand that. It's near Christmas. It's been a rough couple of years for a lot of people. You know what? Like $5.
Every little bit
everything helps.
Just do it this time. Just donate the full 50 this time, because guys, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
So just donate the 50 now.
Look at that. See?
There you go.
Paul got figured out.
Yeah, in all honesty, I mean, our healthcare workers have had, as terrible as the 2 years has been for everyone, our healthcare workers have had it even worse. And hospitals are in rough shape, and people are still getting sick. People are getting more sick, and children, children need all the help they can get. So
yes, indeed.
Please consider it.
Well, we will definitely shout out and share that info through Hey Scoops and on our Twitch. I believe we host you guys sometimes as well through our Twitch channel. So make sure we get on that, and I'll tweet some more stuff out as it gets closer, for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Greg, when people are suggesting games for you to play. I mean, it's not really suggestion; it's more of a command.
Demand.
You have to play these. Are people being nice to you? Or are they, letting you
what?
play
This
nice
year,
games?
people have been really nice. So a couple of the games that are already on the list are Project Gotham Racing 2.
Oh, come on now! See, that's just
That's too nice.
To Greg.
Star
Yeah.
Wars Rogue Squadron 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Twin Snakes, Resident Evil 4, Mario Kart Double Dash,
okay.
Panzer Dragoon Orta. There's some great games chosen so
Those
far.
are, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
those are all. You're not suffering at all during any of that. That's not
Mm-mm.
good.
No, the suffering is being, 45 years old and trying to stay up for 24 hours. That's the suffering. There's some physical suffering involved.
I remember watching the tail end of last year's stream, and yeah, you guys
Yeah.
were beat
I fell asleep
down.
a couple times. Yeah.
Well, you were playing Larry the Unlucky.
Yeah, Lester the Unlikely.
Lester the Unlikely. Larry the Unlucky. Lester the Unlikely. Yeah.
That was, and actually, I'm going to call him out because he's been so generous through the years. That was actually a game that was requested by somebody who goes by the hacker alias Night Attack 09, fellow Canadian, who has donated reliably for years. And I got to say, he actually asked me to play some good games
As well as that one.
Really,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
He's called out. He called out Time Splitters. He's got me playing a few hours of Time Splitters Future Perfect.
Oh.
And Twin Snakes on the GameCube. So
cool.
Yeah, but he's a super nice guy, and he's always, like I said, he's been a long time donor. He's been a long time listener of the show. So yeah.
Well, a Diamond Club too. So shout out, great night. That's Night Attack.
Very nice.
So yeah, I don't know how to do this outro, so I'm just gonna say that's our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you want, does he say more information? I don't know, but he sends you to player1podcast.com.
Yeah.
Which contains our blog entries. It sometimes contains blog entries about the Sega CD, which I've been working on for multiple years, and I'm actually halfway through the next one.
Oh man!
So that'll be coming soon, and also links to episodes of Generation 16. So please head over there to check out more about the show. I think that's it, and then he hands it off to Phil.
He does. And if you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Stitcher Radio or on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch archives of our show or watch us live most weeks on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast. You can also watch us live on Twitters, the Facebooks, the Twitch.televisions, all of those wonderful places. Follow our Twitter account, which is at P1 Podcast, to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it's Sunday nights. Typically, it's at 5:30 Pacific time, unless we have technical issues that are caused by CJ. So then we have to start a little later. But that usually doesn't happen. So join us, won't you? If you've liked what you've heard, and how could you, you can head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way because we need your money. We want your money. No, you know what, though? Your money does, of course, help support the show, keep us streaming every week and all that, all those little background costs of running a podcast. And if you are a Patreon friend of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain access to a special weekly bonus show we record right after this, playing games, cracking wise, doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. But you will get it delivered right to your hot little hands.
Oh,
right up your res trance vibrator.
Docked right in there.
Oh, right up in all the whatever little spots it can wiggle into.
Your grundle.
What are we talking about?
Less of talking and more of a feeling.
Oh,
really. So
it's a vibe.
It's absolutely a vibe. It's a trance vibe. We have a couple bucks left over. Head over to patreon.com/generation16 where you can help Greg Stewart's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you very much, Philip. And if you are a Patreon donor of the $5 per episode variety,
also cheap,
you get access to the weekly vlog I like to call the weekly commute, where I sit very safely in front of a camera in my game room because Phil yells at me if I'm driving in my car.
Well, it's
when
dangerous.
I do this.
Yeah.
And Sorry, I just got completely distracted by something one of the scoops said in the chat.
That'll happen.
Yeah, boy, I wasn't expecting that.
We do that.
God damn. Yeah, anyway, on those vlogs,
Yeah.
get to hear about the current status of an episode, sort of the challenges that I'm facing with those. I had a big breakthrough this week in the new episode I'm working on, so I'm super happy about it. Very excited. Other videos I'm working on, and sort of anything else that's going on that's relevant to your interests, if your interests include old video games. So
very good. Very good.
You
And
just
if
went
they
and saw
don't,
what it
why
said.
are you listening to this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
really.
I mean, why are you even here?
I just like hearing old guys talk about whatever. It doesn't matter.
There's got to be a segment of people like that out there. There are people into everything.
I can listen to guys in their 40s talking about trans vibrators. I know a place you can go.
It's that thing I didn't even know I wanted to hear.
I was delighted to find a big stack of cheap. I think I paid like $5 for my trans vibrator. It was brand new.
You think it was brand new?
I mean, the guy told me it was brand new, but
as he took it dripping from his mouth. Brand new.
There was a film I had to scrape off of it. Like,
that's that new
go
film.
buy a whole bucket of CLR and just dip it in there.
Like when you leave your pudding out for too long and it gets it, you gotta.
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be nice if that's what it was.
Oh, this came with free pudding skin. My day is made. I think that's caramel.
I'll just add this.
I'm gonna say that's caramel.
I'm gonna add this to the jar, put it back on the space
add
heater,
this
and
to the jar.
let that expand.
Phil,
yeah,
take us out. Come on. There's still an after show to do. You can continue this later.
It's like a sourdough starter of
sourdough. Paul's not even going to be able to talk at the end of this.
He's going to have a deck of different pudding skins, like fanned out. Like pick a skin, any skin.
Oh man, this little paint sample paper there.
The problem with doing magic tricks with pudding skins is ultimately you're just forcing skins.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah. That's a little inside magic baseball there for you, folks.
Of course. You can take the man out of Vegas. You can't take the Vegas out of the man, let me tell you.
No, sir.
Up in there real deep.
Let's see here. Oh, I see. I gotta
docked. Fully docked.
Fully docked.
That's I can't play Res until I get the trans vibrator fully docked. Ready to go. I gotta prep my tongue here for a multitude of reasons, but specifically because I'm used to rolling the R after I give CJ his outro. So let me see if I can dive right into so Gregory. There we go.
Yo.
Thank you very much for dealing with all this, and of course,
what I was getting into.
Of course, a big old thanks to our dear friend Paul Mattingly of the Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast over there at heyscoops.com. One of the funniest, most entertaining podcasts you could be listening to these days, let me tell you. Thank you for joining us again, Paul.
Always a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having me. Like I've said before, I found you guys like around episode 12. And I've been listening since way back. Still my favorite podcast to listen to. I still keep up with you guys pretty much every week, and it's just a real pleasure and a treat to be on here with you guys. It's awesome.
We love having you. Absolutely. So and of course, thank you to our wonderful listeners. Every single one of you. Remember, take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Wear masks, get shots.
Be kind to one another.
You can be kind to one another. Just if everyone could get together and share a big trance vibrator, I think the world would be in a much happier place. We'd understand ourselves, you know. Pass it
We'd
around.
understand something.
Pass it around, man. That's all.
Let's learn.
We all get our turn. We all learn. And I
Get
guess
a chance with the trance.
We all get our turn. All right, we're done.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everybody. Jesus.
You guys are gross.